Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Robert Collier. My friends, just like the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, the law of gravity, supply and demand, you can just go through any number of things you know as truisms. And success is just that, small efforts. The small effort that we want you to repeat day in and day out here is, of course, spending 10 to 15 minutes in the marketplace each and every day learning this. You can't do it haphazardly. You can't do it all on a Saturday or a Sunday. And I can hear people now, you don't understand how busy I am. No, you don't understand how busy I am. And yet I still do this. I still put it out for free every day, analyzing, in addition to everything else I do for myself and my own trading, I analyze these 5 ETFs and Bitcoin for you. And that includes Bitcoin. In fact, we do the Bitcoin ETF XBTF. But my friends, 10 to 15 minutes, that's all we ask. If you will just devote that time day in and day out, you just keep doing it because that's what you do. Like those of you who are in good physical condition, you know, it doesn't matter how you feel today. You've got a workout to be done, you do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what time it is, you get it in before you put your head down on the pillow because that's what you do, because you are a healthy person. Same thing if you want to be healthy financially. You've got to put the time and energy in. That is all success is. Small efforts, the sum of those repeated day in and day out. It's not cramming. It's not that school model. It's like the farm model. You put the seed in the ground, you water it, you tend to it, you go out there and you hoe away the weeds and you let it grow. That is day in and day out. You cannot cram for this. Let's jump into these charts. Everything down for the day, going in just the right direction for us. How are things going on our current trade, practice trade that we are in here on SPY? Well, you can see it going quite swimmingly. We are looking for a risk to reward ratio in this case of, now I've taken some of y'all's advice on how to reset my, let's see, okay, that's monkeying. Okay, now I can move it around. All right, so you guys had showed me how to use this automatic setting here and all this, and it does set it up nicely, but I need to move this around so I can show you guys just what's going on. Okay, we're heading toward that 3.70%. We are right at 2+% now, going in the right direction. Again, that's good to see, down 1.15%, of course, going in the same direction as the 2-day chart, which is red on the STC red down candle. And on the weekly, just turned red, lower low this week over last week. Nice big red down candle. Things are going in the right direction. Now, they can swing back up on us and pull us out of this trade, but right now, things are looking decent. How are we looking? You guys like it when I check out the volume occasionally for you. It's good to see the volume building up. Would like to see it, you know, spiking there. That makes us feel better. But again, it is okay now. It's not really telling us a whole lot at this point. So we'll keep an eye on things. I'll go ahead and get that volume out of the way. That's just a standard volume setting. Those of you who are interested in seeing that and just seeing what you see from it. It is something that you can look at, just another little tool. We don't use it a lot, but occasionally I'll look at it just to see how much power there is in those moves, particularly if it's a move in the opposite direction of which the way that we are going, the way of the STC. I'll check that out. So that's where we are on the S&P 500. That trade still underway, looking okay. Let's go to the Qs now. This is the NASDAQ 100. Where is it? It is going in the right direction also, not down as much for the day as the S&P, but down 0.80%. And again, just sort of whittling along sideways a little bit. I wish I could get in there and not have all this pop up and get in the way, but I really can't. Maybe if I go under it. There we go. Okay, so again, you can see in the morning a doji, then down some in the afternoon, plumbing down nicely, but then sort of recovering up. So that's all right. Things are still moving in the right direction on the STC. What about The 2-day, of course, like the S&P 500, that's moving down quite nicely weekly. Actually, this week it's crossing over, heading down on the STC, which is good to see here. And again, not quite hitting the lows of last week, but doing all right. So that is where we are on our two stock indices, the S&P 500 as represented by SPY and the NASDAQ 100 as represented by QQQ. Check out bonds, my friends. We hung in there against thick and thin, and boom, look what happened in the morning. Out at 2.59% profit. Pretty nice, huh? And those of you who are new to what we do here, you might be saying, how are you making money with something going down in your practice trades? That's because, of course, we have a short fund, TBF. It goes in what direction? It goes in the opposite direction of the underlying TLT. And of course, we jumped out this morning, up and out. Now you might say, Tom, when you're doing an inverse trade, why are you not tracking the inverse chart? Because partly that's because I want to keep it simple and not have a whole bunch of other charts I'm throwing up here for you. And second, I like the bigger chart. This chart is set up again as an inverse fund to be managed and to be set up with different types of derivatives to move percentage for percentage. You can tell the share price is much lower than the share price for TLT, which is at $106 or so a share. So we follow it on the big chart. We simply do our purchase order and our sell order based on what we see here, not trying to go to that smaller volume chart based on derivative action. Now do remember, this is something you really need to practice trade. Why? Because inverse funds have higher fees and they're rebalanced often every day. So if it goes up 2% one day and then down 2% the next day, guess what? That new 2% is from the higher mark. So it goes lower than what it went up the day before. Think that through. Need to practice trade it to see how it really works. But a successful trade, we made 3.59% in that practice trade. Always glad to see it. What about gold? Well, our recent gold trade was also successful at 1.58% down, as we've told you. There is DGZ, which is the inverse for gold, but it is not liquid. So when we practice trade gold, we do it with puts. And you want to know how to trade options? Well, we appreciate all the new Patreon members. Many of you joined originally just to get that 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. That is the first thing you get as a Patreon member, and it is very, very helpful, giving you that needed first knowledge so you can start practice trading in the put option area, put calls, both those options. We keep it simple, straightforward, but very helpful. A lot of people really appreciate those trainings. So keep that in mind. Now, that gold trade was recently successful for it. How did it get stretched out so far? That should not have happened. Let's bring that up. It was only a day and a half to garner that 1.58% move down. And of course, what did it do over the course of the day? Started going down again. We don't have a mechanism for jumping back into that, nor would I right now. We'll just continue to keep our eye on gold and hopefully see it do what it did before for us. Go back to the green and then back over. You guys remember this prior trade, again, another 1.58%. Is that not fascinating? We made the same thing there. So again, took a little longer, but it worked for us also. That was after going from green to red. So gold has been good to us on these last couple of trades down. Remember, we're below the 200 EMA. So all the trades we're looking to initiate are down trades when it comes to gold. If gold was above the 200 exponential moving average, we would be going long. And I can't wait for it to do that because I love to buy gold itself. One of these days, my friends, what goes down, particularly if it's something real like gold, will eventually go up. Gold's not going to go out of business. Now let's talk about Bitcoin. Down for the day, 2.58%. Whoa, Bitcoin, gives people some hope for a little bit of time and then again pulls back and makes you wonder. Where are we on this 2-day? Again, we're looking around this same level, the 1820 mark or so. We look at where we are on this weekly chart, and again, you can see the same kind of thing. Bitcoin, again, touching on those lows again. What do I want to see here? I don't want to see Bitcoin penetrate this 1820 or so mark and hammer further down. I want to see it bounce off that again. Like to see it make a bottom, stick to this bottom, and then keep moving up, and eventually what? Eventually break through, move up, and show us the goodies. Can't wait for that to happen. You can see on this half-day chart, we're well below that 200 EMA. Got a long way to go before we get there. And you can see the 200 EMA is rocketing down also. So we'll keep our eye on things. We'll see how things go, and we'll be ready to jump and get on it when the getting's good. It isn't right now. That's where we are, folks, as we end the day. We're still in the S&P and the Qs. We topped off that TLT trade successfully this morning. And of course, gold, we topped off last week. So again, good success here in the short term. The trick is to just keep knocking it out and banking it. Hope you're doing the practice trades with us. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.